He texted "red elevator" after I put one old Instagram photo back on my grid for 7 minutes.
Wait, red elevator was in the photo?
In the corner. Not the caption, not the story, a tiny red elevator door behind us in a tagged rooftop picture from March.
And this is Theo, the Hinge guy?
Theo. One great first date, one canceled second date, 2 weeks of no contact where he somehow became both absent and everywhere.
That is the worst category.
It started small. I posted a Sunday coffee story at 8:42. He watched it in less than a minute. No like, no reply, not even the lazy little fire emoji.
So he gave you just enough attention to ruin your morning.
Exactly. My friend Bree said, "He is checking your profile too." I said, "You cannot know that from one story view."
Correct. A story view is visible. A full profile visit claim is a different thing.
Then I did the thing people do when they say they want peace but actually want evidence.
Oh no.
I opened my tagged photos. There was this rooftop photo from after our first date, where we ran into 2 friends and pretended it was not a date. I moved it back onto my profile grid at 9:06.
For how long?
7 minutes. I removed it at 9:13 because I immediately felt unhinged.
And then?
At 9:41, Theo texts, "I forgot about that red elevator place."
That is a real clue. But it is not a whole answer.
Bree did not care. She was screaming. She said, "Girl, he is looking. Ask him why he is on your page."
Please tell me you did not send that sentence.
I typed it. I deleted it. I typed something worse. I deleted that too.
Growth.
Temporary growth, because the next night I tested it again.
Of course you did.
Different old tagged photo. This one had a neon laundromat sign in the background. Theo had joked that it looked like a breakup movie poster. I made it visible at 10:18. Took it down at 10:27.
No story that night?
No story, no post, no note. Nothing new except that grid change.
When did he text?
The next morning at 7:52, he wrote, "Still think that laundromat looked haunted."
Now you have 2 short windows and 2 private texts repeating background details.
So he was checking.
Maybe. The safer read is this. The timing pattern deserves attention. It does not prove exact hidden identity at every second. It does not prove motive. It definitely does not prove he wants to come back.
That is the part that made me mad, because the clue felt so loud.
A loud clue can still answer a small question.
Which question?
Did your tiny Instagram changes seem to line up with his private texts? Yes. Did that mean he was ready to be clear with you? Not yet.
Bree said I should do one more grid change and wait.
That is not dating. That is turning your profile into a slot machine.
I hated how true that was.
Every refresh gives you a little hit. Then you feel worse because the hit is not a plan.
So I stopped moving photos. I wrote down both windows. 9:06 to 9:13, text at 9:41. 10:18 to 10:27, text at 7:52.
Good. Pattern on paper, not in your nervous system.
Then I asked him one normal question. I said, "You mentioned 2 details from old photos right after I moved them. Were you trying to reopen the conversation?"
Clean. No accusation. No bait.
He waited 5 hours.
Of course.
Then he said, "I just noticed them and thought it was funny."
There is the answer.
It did not feel like an answer.
Because you wanted the pattern to become effort, but he only gave you attention.
So he may have looked and it still meant almost nothing.
It meant something narrow. He noticed. He remembered. He reached sideways instead of forward.
Forward would have been, "I want to see you again."
Exactly. If someone can name the red elevator, they can also name what they want.
Attention is not repair.
And a repeated Instagram signal is not a relationship. It is a reason to stop guessing and ask one clean question.
And if the answer is small?
Then believe the size of the answer. Do not build a whole comeback story out of 7 minutes on your grid.